Hi, students. This is our Unit 1, the Constitution, notes number 6, and that is on citizenship, the rights and responsibilities that citizens have. You can find the information on page 20 and 21 of your notes packet, and you will need a pencil and a highlighter for today's lesson. Pages 20 and 21. Okay, we start out with the actual definition of a citizen. A citizen is anyone who is born in the United States. And that's by the 14th Amendment. Citizens are born in the US. But there are 3 ways that someone can become a citizen of the United States, which we're going to explore on the following slides. So, the 3 ways that someone can become a citizen is by law of the land, law of blood, and naturalization. So these are 3 ways that someone can become a citizen of the United States. Okay, the first way is by law of the land, and this is the most common form of citizenship. Okay, so anybody who's born in the United States or any of its territories. You'll see on that map below, you could see that we also have territories of Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Okay, all of these places, if you are born there, you are automatically a citizen of the United States. So, our most common form of citizenship is being born in the United States. And that is on the bottom in the chart of page 20. Born in the US. So, if you are physically on the land of the United States when you are born, you are automatically a United States citizen. The second way that you can gain citizenship is by the law of blood. The law of blood applies to people born to American parents. If a child is born in a foreign country and one or both parents are U.S. citizens, they are automatically a U.S. citizen as long as one or both parents have lived in the U.S. for at least 5 years. So, simply put, the law of blood means that if you are born in a foreign country to one or two parents who are U.S. citizens, you are also a U.S. citizen. My cousins have a unique situation. My aunt is from the United States, and their dad is from France. So the mom is a U.S. citizen, dad is a French citizen, and when the kids were born, some of them were born here and some of them were born in France, but they are all automatically U.S. citizens because one of their parents is a U.S. citizen who has lived here for at least 5 years. So kind of an interesting situation, but this also applies to like a lot of kids grow up like with military parents where they're on military bases in other countries. They're going to be U.S. citizens. If your parents are on vacation when they're pregnant with you and you get born in another country, that means you are still a U.S. citizen that way. So kind of protects you based on your parents. And then the last one that we need to talk about has a few definitions attached. The first definition we want to look at the top with our highlighter is an immigrant. An immigrant is a person who was born in a foreign country and moved to the U.S. So somebody who was born somewhere else who moves here. And if you become a naturalized citizen, that means that you complete the process to become a U.S. citizen. So the third way, so first way is law of the land, where you are just born here. The second way is that you might be born somewhere else, but your parents are U.S. citizens. The third way is through naturalization. And naturalization is a way for immigrants to apply to become US citizens. Okay? People who are born in a foreign country, they move to the US legally by obtaining a visa, and they can go through the process of becoming naturalized. So the way that this works is that they live in the United States for 5 years. Once they've lived here for at least 5 years, and they've come here legally, have no criminal record, they learn to read, write, and speak English. They have to learn to read, write, and speak English enough to pass a citizenship test, and they also take an oath of allegiance to the United States. So the process for becoming a citizen is there. It's pretty extensive, but for a lot of immigrants coming into the United States, it is also a very important part of them being here in our country. Now, people who live in the United States who have come from other countries do not have to become citizens. But once you become a citizen, you're afforded all of the rights that everybody else in our country is. Okay, speaking of those rights, if we flip to page 21 in our packet, you're going to see a Venn diagram at the top of, and then on the bottom part, you're going to see the chart. So the first thing that we're going to do is the bottom part, actually, which is the chart on rights and responsibilities of citizenship. So, number one in your packet, a right of citizenship is constitutional rights and the Bill of Rights. We just talked about the Bill of Rights last week and how you have the right to free speech and the right to peacefully protest, and you have the right to bear arms and the right to a lawyer and all sorts of stuff. Well, if you are a citizen, you get those rights. A very important one coming up, especially in this election year, is the right to vote. Only citizens of the United States are allowed to vote in any elections. That's number 3 in your packet on page 21 on the bottom left. The fourth one is equality under the law, seen as an equal. The fifth one is freedom from discrimination. So the rights of your citizenship really are those basic human rights and as they apply to the Constitution of our country. You also have some responsibilities. If you're a citizen, it is really your responsibility to register to vote. Okay? You're not forced to vote. Nobody throws you in jail if you don't vote, but it is a responsibility to vote. Think of all the people who have worked really hard to gain those right to vote over the course of our history, that it's important for people to register and to have that voice in our country, because that is the way that you speak out in our country. You also have the responsibility to obey laws. You have to pay your taxes. If called upon, you need to serve on a jury duty. That is a responsibility of citizenship, and it allows those people in civil and criminal cases to have a jury of their peers. So they have a system set up when you are old enough that you could get called for jury duty, and it is your responsibility to be there. Number 5 on the right-hand side of that column is to become educated. If you are in the United States, you have free public education through 12th grade, and it is a responsibility to become educated and to respect the rights of others. And we've talked about that a little bit last week, that it is your responsibility to respect other people's rights. Okay, so you have the right to be protected under the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, but so does everybody else. So, on the left-hand column, you got your rights, constitutional rights, Bill of Rights, right to vote, equality, freedom from discrimination. And then on the right-hand side, you have the responsibilities. You have to register, you don't have to, but you should register to vote. You should obey your laws, pay taxes, serve on a jury, become educated, and respect the rights of others. All right. The last thing we want to talk about, what is the difference? Why does it matter if you're a U.S. citizen or you're not a U.S. citizen? And then what are some things that both citizens and non-citizens have to do? Okay. So if you look through the Statue of Liberty there on the right-hand side, excuse me, on the left-hand side, I can't tell my directions nowadays. Those are some of the words that we're going to look at. So you should know that U.S. citizens can vote in elections. They can get a passport, run for public office, and serve on a jury. So those are things that only U.S. citizens can do. Non-citizens can become naturalized, so they can become citizens. They can apply for a work visa, which gives them the right to work here in the United States. And they can be deported for breaking laws. If you are not a citizen and you break the laws, you can be sent back to your home country. And all people in the United States have to obey the laws, pay taxes, and they need passports for travel. And all people in the U.S. deserve the First Amendment rights. The right to free speech, the right to religion, that one. And that one you're going to have to write in. I know that you don't have a ton of space, but perhaps you can draw a big old arrow or a box on the bottom of your circle. That'll help you put that in that category.